Welcome to the 2019-2020 TTESS refresher training. This training is for teachers who are returning only. So if you are a brand new teacher, you have already been trained and you do not have to watch this video. Everyone else, this training is for you. It is a required training. Number one, all appraisers must complete TTESS certification training, which Natalie and I have both done. Number two, returning administrators must have successfully completed their TTESS recertification prior to the first day of instruction, which Natalie and I do every year. Number three, each campus must provide a TTESS teacher refresher for all returning teachers. That's what we're doing right here. This is that training. Number four, new teachers and new to district teachers should be trained on TTESS at their home campus before the first day of school, which the brand new teachers have already been trained at their new teacher campus day. And number five, teachers hired after the new teacher in-service days who have not had TTESS training will need to be trained by his or her designated appraiser within the first days of employment. So anybody that would come on board mid-year, that's just telling us that we must make sure that they are TTESS trained within 10 days of their employment. A sign-in sheet for all training should be submitted to Sarita no later than September 9th. So please come to my office when you are done viewing this training and sign the sign-in sheet. I need to submit that to HR saying that all of y'all have been trained. Appraisal assignments. All teachers should be assigned an appraiser for the 1920 school year. Each teacher should be informed who his or her appraiser is no later than August 30th, 2019. So Natalie and I make a list of all of the teachers and then we just split it up. Who's going to appraise who? We will give you that list by August 30th so you'll know if it's Natalie or myself who will be appraising you this year. Appraisal exempt form should be given to all teachers who will not participate in the full appraisal process for the 1920 school year by September 6, 2019. Exempt forms should be signed by both appraiser and teacher no later than September 13th, 2019. All right, in TTESS, we have a Cycle 1 teacher and a Cycle 2 teacher. A Cycle 1 teacher is a teacher who may be on a probationary contract. It may be a teacher with a take no action contract status. It may be a teacher that's on an employment agreement. A teacher new to a building could be eligible for Cycle 1. Any teacher who is on a growth plan is going to be a Cycle 1 teacher. And then that last little bullet there says that teachers who are on a Cycle 2 may be moved to Cycle 1 at the discretion of the campus administrator during the school year. Teachers must be made aware of the change before the formal observation. So basically, you can be a veteran teacher, and if there's an area of growth that the administration sees, they will document and they'll be able to move you back to a Cycle 1. What is the process for Cycle 1 teachers? Well, you're going to have a pre-conference. You are going to set your goals with your appraiser. You are going to have one formal observation, which is a minimum of 45 minutes. You are going to have 3 documented walkthroughs, at least 3, not including your observation. You are also going to have an end-of-year conference, which is a face-to-face conference with your appraiser. And then you will also be evaluated on Domain 4 of TTESS. If you are a Cycle 2 teacher, you are going to have to do a little bit less. Who are the Cycle 2 teachers? These are teachers who are on a term contract, excluding those teachers who have been moved from a Cycle 2 back to a Cycle 1. The process for a Cycle 2 teacher to be appraised is you are going to set your goal. You are going to have at least 3 documented walkthroughs. You are going to be eligible to participate in a end-of-year summative conference with your appraiser, but you can opt out of that. And then you will also be evaluated on your Domain 4 of TTESS. Criteria to return a Cycle 2 teacher to a Cycle 1. If it is determined that a teacher in any area at any time by the campus administrator needs additional assistance with documentation, the principals can move a teacher from a Cycle 2 back to a Cycle 1. Once placed back on Cycle 1, the teacher must achieve a minimum of proficient to be eligible to be placed back on Cycle 2. And it is a principal's decision. So what that means is you're going to have an evaluation, an observation, and you must get proficient in all columns in order to go back to that Cycle 2 spot. All right, a little bit about the goal setting. At the beginning of the year, all teachers will submit at least one professional goal for the 2019-20 school year in Strive. So Natalie and I have talked about this, and she wants you to have two goals. She wants you to have one professional goal, but she also wants you to have a goal that you're going to make with your team. So you're going to sit down with your team. You guys are going to decide on an area that you want to do better in, and then you are all going to write the same goal for the team goal. Okay, so you're going to have two goals, one personal, which is your professional personal goal, and then one team goal. Appraisers should review and approve goals submitted in Strive no later than September 13th, 2019. So once y'all write your goals, you're going to submit them, and then the Strive system will let Natalie and myself know that you have submitted your goal. We're going to go in and read it, and then we're going to approve it or disapprove it. Cycle 1 teachers will engage in personal goal setting and planning for professional development with their appraiser. So we're going to help those Cycle 1 teachers set their goals and decide on a goal. All right, the formal observation. Who gets formally observed? Cycle 1 teachers. Except for teachers eligible for less frequent formal observations, teachers will participate in one formal classroom observation, which will be mutually scheduled by date and time, one time during the fall or spring semester. A classroom observation will be the length of an instructional period or a complete lesson, which is 45 minutes. The annual observation cycle will run in accordance with the district-approved appraisal calendar. All observations must include a pre- and a post-conference that follow established TTESS conference protocol and are scheduled by date and time. Prior to each observation, the TTESS evaluator will conduct a pre-conference meeting with the teacher to ask pertinent background questions about the lesson plan and the students in the class in order to provide context. After each classroom observation, the teacher who was observed will receive a written summary and oral feedback from the individual evaluator in a post-conference meeting. You will have that within 10 days. And then all observations should be entered into Strive within 10 working days. So basically what this is saying is before your 45-minute observation, we're going to schedule a time to meet with you before. We're going to go over what your lesson's all about. You're going to fill out a form telling us, how you plan, what TEKS you're going to be covering, how you manage your classroom. Maybe you're going to let us know about kids that you want us to look out for. So that'll all happen before. Then we will come to your observation. Then we have 10 days to write up your scores. But we're going to have a post-conference with you, and we're going to talk about, how we thought your lesson went. You're going to talk about how you thought the lesson went. We're going to give you your scores at that time, and we are also going to have an area of reinforcement, which is an area that we think you could do a little bit better in, and that we have to do for everybody, so don't be offended when we've got an area of reinforcement for you. Just know that that is standard TTESS procedure and that we have to do that. And then we will wrap up everything. We have 10 days from the evaluation date to do that. If you want a copy of all of this, you can go to the Alvin ISD webpage, and there you will find the appraisal calendar as well as this information. All right, walkthroughs are the other part of TTESS. So who gets walkthroughs? Cycle 1 and Cycle 2 teachers. Walkthroughs shall be conducted throughout the year. They are typically brief, non-scheduled, informal observations. You will have no less than 3 15-minute walkthroughs throughout the school year. And then we will write those up and put those into the Strive system within 10 days of being in your classroom. So just know that these are not a got you. We are just coming in to see what's going on in your classroom. We're just going to get a little 15-minute window to be in there, and then we're going to just write up what we see and show those results to you. In the event that a teacher participating in the TTESS evaluation process disagrees with the evaluation scores for the individual performance in the domains and the dimensions of TTESS, you may appeal within 10 working days of the post-conference. A second appraiser on campus will then be assigned to complete the second formal observation. If you agree with both appraisers, you may appeal within 10 working days of the second post-conference, and somebody from HR will then appraise you. This will be the final appraisal opportunity. The final appraiser scoring will be recognized as the final score. All right, everybody is eligible to have a summative/end-of-year conference. A summative/end-of-year conference will be held at least 15 days prior to the end of school to discuss overall performance for the year. Teachers will have the opportunity to provide evidence to his or her appraiser for Domain 4 prior to the summative conference. Cumulative documentation will not be used in the formal observation, but will be considered in the summative report. Cumulative documentation that may impact a teacher's evaluation must be shared with the teacher within 10 working days. Any third-party information from a source other than the teacher's supervisor that the appraiser wishes to include as cumulative data shall be verified and documented by the appraiser and shared with the teacher within 10 days of knowledge of the verified information. All teachers should submit evidence activities to support goals set at the beginning of the year, as well as any evidence to support Domain 4 by April 17th. And you must upload that into Strive. That means you've got to be collecting evidence all year long saying that you've been working towards your goal, and you've got to put it all up into the Strive system by April 17th. Administrators will complete an end-of-year form for all Cycle 1 teachers. New administrators may waive both face-to-face for Cycle 2 teachers. This waiver has to be documented in writing. So if you choose to waive that end-of-year conference, we will send you something giving you that option to opt out of that. All right, these are just some important dates that you may need to know, but we will be communicating all of these deadlines to you as we get close to them. And then the last slide is just letting you know that any of this information is available on the Alvin ISD webpage under the Human Resources tab. So you can go there and find any of this information that I just gave you. You can also come to me if you need anything. And that wraps up our TTESS Teacher Refresher Training. Please come to my office and sign the sign-in sheet.